What's up, guys? It's your boy Jeremy, and welcome to Curated Conversations with Jeremy. And I am your host, Jeremy, formerly known as King. Y'all already know who I am. And welcome to today's episode. This is episode 2 in my new series, Curated Conversations with Jeremy, where we talk about all things life, faith, business, pretty much everything in between. And we just keep it real. It's pretty unscripted. Even though I got my little notes over here, it's just kind of to create an open dialogue. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Just give you a little bit of daily inspiration. I don't have like a format of how often I want to do this, or you know, I'm just kind of just going off the dome with it. And this time away from social media has really just helped me to kind of hone in on some of the things that I find more purposeful in my life outside of business and social media. One of the things that I've been doing to just help with the peace and just setting the atmosphere of peace around me is I've been taking time every morning to journal. I normally start my day off at about between 5 and 6 o'clock every morning, and I'll come into my office and just start off with my daily bread, and then I'll go into a daily devotional that I've been doing, like I told you in the last episode. And that really just sets the atmosphere for me for the day. And that really sets the tone of how my day really begins. I really believe that if you start your day off with prayer and meditation, you can really cancel out a lot of the enemy's assignment that he is trying to, just trying to take into your just putting into your life. All of the chaos that we have in the mornings of the hustle and bustle of, trying to get everything done in the mornings. Really, it has a lot to do with how you start your morning and what you feed into your spirit in the morning. So I start every morning off with prayer and a daily devotional, and that really has helped me a lot to set the atmosphere, not only in just my life but just in my home as well. One of my close friends, I call her my spiritual sister. Shout out to Alicia. She said in a quote the other day that we don't respond to the atmosphere; we set the atmosphere. And for me, what that means is every room that I go into in my house, I try to speak life over it now. And not to say that I didn't have that sense of, that feeling before, but now it's more relevant in my life. And every day I make it a point to walk throughout my home and just speak, positive affirmations and speak peace over my home and over my life. I get up and I say, Lord, walk with me and go with me, to and fro, bless my home, bless my family, bless the my friends in my life, bless anyone that comes and goes throughout my home. And also to Lord, make sure that any trap or anything that the enemy has tried to set up or cause any friction in my life or in my home, that it has no bearing here at all. So I really do love that quote that we don't respond to the atmosphere, we set the atmosphere. So today I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of encouragement about setting proper boundaries in your life. And for me, that has been so important in this phase of my life because many of I walked away from social media and I walked away from the business and all of the things that came with being a social media influencer and having a business, to just find a sense of purpose for me. And I cannot tell you how fulfilling it's been. And I know that people think that, oh, people go off and then they come back to talking about God, this. And I'm not really trying to push nothing in your face about, my walk, or I'm not trying to convince you that my walk is the way that you should go. But for me, it's been just such a feeling of peace and just an ease now. And there's been a lot of changes in my life, and one of the boundaries that I have set in my life now is that everybody doesn't deserve to know what's going on in my life. For so many years, I've lived my life like publicly. And I've, put out, certain things about business, things about my personal life. And one of the things that I wanted God to do in my life in this season was release me from the idea that I owed people an explanation of what was going on with me. And if I can just help somebody today, you need to set up boundaries in your life. You don't owe anybody an explanation for anything that you have going on in your life, anything that you are doing in your life. You don't owe that to anybody, not your husband, your wife, your kids, your boss, nobody. Only you decide what is good for you in your life. And you have got to take back that peace that you have given away and those boundaries that you've given away for so long, whether it be in business or in your personal life, whatever it is, you have got to take that back. All right. So, one of the things that I had been reading up on this week was the power of generosity. And Luke 6:38 says, "Give and it will be given to you." For so long, I have just had this thought in my mind that, God gave me a gift. So I got to share it with the world, and I have to do everything to fulfill that purpose. And I have to give, 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 give. And as I said in the last episode, I don't owe that to anybody. I do owe it to God to share my gift with the world because He gave me an amazing gift, and not just one gift. He gave me many gifts. So it is, I have to do that because that's the gift that He's given me. But what I don't have to do is to allow people to take from me. Um and I can give, but I can give with boundaries. And one of the things that I have done is to limit the access to me. More so recently, I've been just inclined just to at least just post a little update, or just to let people know, how I'm doing, and what's going on in my life at the time. And not so much as like an everyday thing like I used to. But it's just, when if it falls on my heart, I'll, try to post something just to let people know I appreciate them. And the other day I had posted something in my story, and it was just a photo of me. And posting that gave me so much anxiety. And I listened to a sermon a couple of weeks ago by Pastor Mike, and he was saying it was basically about arresting anxiety in your life. And a lot of times we have so much anxiety, or we give the enemy too much power over anxiety and depression in our life. And I ended up deleting the picture when I posted in my story, because it just caused so much anxiety. There were so many messages that were coming to my inbox, their story responses, people were emailing me, and I found myself falling right back into that, that mode of like closing up, and I ended up just deleting the picture altogether. And the whole day it bothered me that I had removed the picture, because I'm like, listen, you in therapy, you have these tools to help you, navigate through this whole thing with anxiety, and how to set up boundaries on your platforms, and you don't have to respond. So all day I wrestled with that in my mind. And at the end of the day, I prayed about it even more. And I was like, you know what, God, I got to get this to you. People, I have a platform, and no matter how I try to run from, the platform, and, the messages and all of that stuff, it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's that just comes with having a platform. But because I have, tried to set these boundaries up in my life, I don't have to respond. And it feels good now, just thinking back, like, you know what? you don't have to respond the way you used to. You don't have to tell people I don't answer DMs, and y'all know I don't respond to DMs and all that stuff like that. You just don't do it. You just don't have to do it. And sometimes the best things are just left unsaid. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to say the first thing on your mind. And one of the things that I'm learning is to be slow to speak and not to say the first thing that comes to my mind. Because what that does is you can't take those words back sometimes. You know, your words have so much power. And right now, I'm just trying to practice speaking life and speaking positivity and just speaking things that benefit me on a more personal level, on a more spiritual level, to where I can grow personally. And I'm just learning to just, in short, just keep my damn mouth closed, basically. Um, and just not speak all the time. So in the next thing is one of the next points that I'm learning is patience and just trusting God's timing. um there's always a consequence for impatience, whether it be, you know, you speak too fast and you say the wrong thing, and then if you're a business owner, you speak too fast and you say the wrong thing, and then people start to say, well, they are unprofessional, or they don't know how to talk to people. In your personal life, you speak too fast and people say that you have a really bad attitude, or you don't know how to communicate. So I'm really learning the patience part, and just giving myself some grace in my boundaries. Okay, one thing that I am truly reading and I'm saying daily is you cannot be everything to everybody. Okay, you cannot be everything to everybody. I was listening to a sermon the other day, and he talked about the key people that walked with Jesus. Um, and he broke it. Pastor Mike broke this down into a model that you would have for your relationships for people in your life, and it is so important to know what area people are in your life. Okay, it's okay to put people into categories in your life, and you don't have to feel bad about setting those type of boundaries in your life. There were a few categories that Jesus really put people in his life. Okay, and these were some of those categories. You had the world. Okay, so the world consists of, we're gonna say, the 5,000. All right, and then you have your community. That community is the people who really, you know, they really vibe with you. You know what I'm saying? If you selling a product, they gonna buy everything that you sell. All right. Then you have the people who you collaborate with, because you know in business you can't collaborate with everybody, because some collaborations you may look at it as a big thing, or that it could benefit you in a certain way, but we all know that every collaboration is not a good collaboration. And sometimes it just doesn't fit right in business for us. All right. Then you have the people who you have in your circle. All right. So that circle represents a small number. So we're going to put it in number standpoint. The world would be 5,000. Okay. Your community would be 70. All right. And then the people you collaborate with would be 12. All right. So you see the number gets smaller as you start putting people into their place and in the boundaries. All right. The next group of people you would have is your circle. Now, some people would say, "Oh, I'm tight with my circle. You know, my circle, they locked in with me. You know, I can tell them something, and they ain't gonna tell everything." But that ain't always the case. Sometimes your circle can be your hindrance. All right. So your circle represents, you know, the 12 people. So we done went down from collaboration where we were at 70. So we went down to our circle that only have 12 people. But what I am learning in setting boundaries that matter to me is that core group. That core was only 3. All right. That core is the people who ain't just saying I got your back. That core group of people, they see that you struggling, and they don't just say I'm gonna pray for you. They pick up the phone and they start praying with you. So it's so important to set those boundaries in your life and put those people in. It's okay to put those people into categories in your life. So you got your core, your circle, the people you collaborate with, you got your community, and then you got the world. All right. The things that you tell your core, the world would never understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm at a place of just transition, and a lot of things are transpiring in my life, and I'm transitioning into different parts of my life. And I now understand that my community won't understand what my core knows, and that I can't tell the world what I tell my core because they not going to understand it. It's just like when you go through a traumatic experience and people be saying, "Oh, I don't understand how you got through that. I don't know how you made it through that." It wasn't for you to understand, because that core group of people, they understand the walk that you on. The world will never understand the walk that you on, and you don't owe it to anybody to prove to them that the walk that you're on is a different walk. It'll show up in your actions, it'll show up in your words, it'll show up in your true intentions. All right. So you don't really owe anybody anything. All right. So it's so important to put those people into categories in your life and don't feel bad about it. All right. Another thing that I want to tell you guys is you got to recognize what it is that's holding you back. For me, it was me. I was the one that was holding me back. No matter how I tried, I realized that I was really my biggest hindrance. Even with wanting to leave everything, and a lot of people just didn't understand, like, how do you have this huge platform and you have all of these followers, and you're doing good financially, you got what seems to be a really good life. Um but I was really holding me back. I just kept saying, after I kept saying, when I was talking about I didn't want to be Cake King no more, I just kept saying, Lord, I just want to be normal. I just want to be a regular person. I don't want to be Cake King. And after I decided I didn't want to be Cake King no more, I didn't know who the hell I was. I had been Cake King for so long that I didn't know who Jeremy was. So on this path, and I call it now my walk. The walk that I'm on right now, I'm rediscovering who Jeremy is. And I'm discovering the things that really, really make Jeremy happy, and things that pour into me and make me better. So you have to recognize what is holding you back. I wrote this down. True breakthrough isn't going to the next level, but understanding why you're stuck in the now level. You got to try to distinguish what's keeping you back from your next level. And a lot of times it's the now. What are the things that are in your life now that is keeping you from that next level? Okay. Um, Another thing I had wrote down was the importance of discernment. Y'all, I can't tell you like how bad that I had this for so long. Um just that just not knowing how to discern when certain situations weren't good for me or healthy for me, or certain people weren't good for me and weren't healthy for me. But I really, really had to just go into a quiet place with God and just ask him, like, God, can you please just help me to discern when people and situations are not good for me? Because if you don't, I'm just gonna keep on hurting myself, because I can't discern, when people are using me, or when people are just trying to get information from me and they don't mean me well. So that was something I really struggled with. And I had to really, really pray and ask God, like, God, just give me that sense of discernment, so that I can really understand the purpose of the people who are coming into my life, and not only that, be able to discern their true intentions for me. Sometimes we be holding on to people, places, and just habits that God is trying to call us away from. And again, we go back to what's holding you back. A lot of times it's your environment, it's the people you around, it's the habits that you keep. the habits that you really need to break. All right. So my question to you today is do you currently have what you need for what you're becoming? So, and really, really think about that question. Do you currently have what you need for what you're becoming? All right. And if you can't answer that question honestly, or if you just don't know the answer to that question right now, I urge you, stop, pray, and just really meditate on that. Do I really have what I need for what it is that I'm becoming, or whatever it is that God is calling me for? Because you can't go to your next level doing the same things that you've been doing, keeping the same habits that you've had, being around the same people who are not trying to help you grow, who are not pouring into you. All right. So I just wanted to give y'all just a little quick motivational moment. And I hope this really, really helps you. And I hope that you learn the importance of setting up boundaries in your life, and understand that it's okay sometimes to just let people go if they're not serving you a purpose, if they're not feeding your spirit, if they are not pouring into you, whatever it is, and whatever it is that's holding you back from that next level. I really, really pray that you take some time and meditate on it, and just ask God to reveal to you what it is that you are missing in your life that's keeping you from your next level. All right, y'all. I'm your host, Jeremy, and this has been Curated Conversations with Jeremy. I appreciate y'all listening in. And y'all have an amazing, amazing day. And don't let nobody mess up your day. Don't let nobody take away the goodness that God has implanted into you. And just keep going on in the right direction where you're trying to serve a just a, man, just keep being great. I mean, it's already hard out here. We got enough going on in the world. It's enough turmoil and enough thing in politics and everything else. If you don't create an atmosphere of peace in your life, you're gonna forever be just wrestling through the storms and just wrestling through. All right. So remember this: we don't respond to the atmosphere. We set the atmosphere. Set an atmosphere of peace, set an atmosphere of just perseverance. All right. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, just give it to God. I appreciate y'all.